Hello and welcome to Art 1135 Printing Fundamentals. I would like to take a minute to introduce you to this course. If you've taken other courses with me, Jessica Curran, these videos might seem familiar, and if you've watched them, let's say for InDesign, you do not have to watch them again for printing. But for those of you who are new to taking classes with me or new to taking Art 1135 Printing Fundamentals, please use these videos to get familiar with the first week activities and to feel comfortable navigating the course. So the first thing we have to do is we have to log into the course, which is administered entirely or mainly through Canvas, and you can do that in a number of ways. If you're on the SLCC website, you can click on the My SLCC button and then choose Canvas, and you'll be redirected there. I like to just type in the address, slcc.instructure, instructure.com, and then navigate directly to Canvas that way. That way, the next time that you log in, you can type slcc.I, and then automatically it will just pop up for you. When you're ready, you're going to log in using your My Page username and password. So I'm just going to make sure that mine is the right one. And I'll get rid of these extra tabs while we wait for it to load. When you log in, you're going to be dumped into what is called the dashboard. And the dashboard should show, as a student, it should show all of your classes for the spring 2017 semester, or whatever semester you're watching this video in. You need to find Printing Fundamentals, which might say Art 1135, or it might say Printing or Printing Fundamentals. When you find it, go ahead and click on it, and it will dump you into the class. When you get to the class, now I'm in teacher view, so mine's going to look slightly different, but for the most part it'll be very similar. You will see that there are a handful of tabs on the left-hand side. There's the Home, Announcements, Syllabus, Grades, and Starfish tab. If you were taking this as a flipped classroom hybrid, so we offer printing in traditional on-campus lecture lab sections, but we also offer it as a flipped classroom hybrid where you would do all the prep and all of the lecture and all that kind of stuff at home, and then you would come to class just for the lab. If you're taking one of those flipped classroom hybrid sections, you might see something called WebEx on the left-hand side, and that's something that your teacher could use to do an online lecture or do a meetup or a Q&A session, etc. The Home tab is where all of your coursework will be, and it is built into modules. So each one of these gray tabs that you can expand or contract is considered a module, but we call them checkpoints in graphic communications for a couple of reasons. We like to standardize the courses so that you're familiar with the format, but also we view it as progressing through checkpoints. So after you complete everything in checkpoint 1, you should be in a place that you can move on to checkpoint 2, and once you complete everything in checkpoint 2, you should be in a place where you can move on to checkpoint 3. So we're kind of checking our progress along the way. In the printing class, there are 8 checkpoints, and each one is synced up to a project. So we might spend 3 or 4 weeks on each one of these, but if you expand it, you'll see all the different things that we're going to cover. The format, or the way that Canvas is set up for the printing class, is slightly different than the InDesign or the Photoshop class, where the information is chronological and we work from the top to the bottom. For example, checkpoint 1 is chronological. We'll start at the top and we'll complete getting started, then course materials, semester schedule, etc. But once you get to checkpoint 2 and you get to our real content checkpoints, there are groupings of items. So there's lecture materials, and everything you'll need for all the lectures that we'll do during checkpoint 2 are included. There is an activities and class participation section, so all the homework and things like that you'd have to do are there. And then there is a project section. So we might spend 4 weeks on a project, but there's lots of stages to a project, as we'll learn throughout the semester. So as we progress through it, you'll have things that are due throughout the grading, and they're broken down into numbers, and you should be completing the numbered items in order. So 2.1 should be completed before 2.2, which should be completed before 2.3. Now they're not all listed in that order because some have to be in a different grading category. The Announcements tab is where I will communicate with the class if I have to communicate with everyone all at once, and there are some preset announcements that are in there that you should read during the first week of the semester. If you're taking this class as a hybrid or a flipped classroom hybrid, it's important that you check this every day during the week, Monday through Friday, to make sure that nothing has changed or nothing has been updated. If you're taking this as a traditional on-campus class, it's not as important, but if, let's say, that class is canceled for weather or teacher illness, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to post a course announcement that says there's no class today, and then I'm going to send out an email and contact the department office. But if you have your announcement set up to be forwarded to an email or a text message, you'll get that information almost instantly. You can set up your communication preferences by clicking on your profile, a little picture up in the top left-hand corner, and you can set up that anytime an announcement is sent that you get a text message with that information. That's up to you, but it is your responsibility to check the announcements on a regular basis. The third tab is the syllabus tab, and you can read through all the information on the syllabus. The syllabus is a binding agreement between me and you, or your teacher and you. So you need to make sure that you read through it, and if you have any questions, you ask. So the textbook is on there, how the course is organized, what the projects are be, late policies. Let's say that the late policy says that you get 10% off for something being late, but then I give you a 0. If the syllabus says that you only get 10% off, I can't mark it 100% off. But in the printing class in particular, late work is unacceptable. You cannot submit late work. If you submit late work, you'll fall behind, and you literally cannot make up a printing day. If you miss a day that we're on press, then you can't make that up. So if you miss the date that something is due, like the artwork, and that pushes you back a few days, and then you miss the printing day, it's just going to snowball and compound, and you'll fall further and further behind. So there is not a ton of work in the printing class that you would have to worry about falling behind, but it is unacceptable to submit late work in the printing class. Okay, read through the course syllabus, and if you have any questions, let me know. One of the things I like about Canvas is if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the syllabus, it will list all of the due dates, so you don't have to worry about missing something that's due. The problem with this, however, is that it only shows things that are due and not all the things you need to be able to do those things, like a lecture or a handout. So use the assignment summary to just make sure that you don't miss something that's due, but all of your coursework should be accessed from the Home tab. The Grades tab will display your grade at all times throughout the semester, so on the first day and the last day and any day in between, you should be able to click on the Grades tab and see an accurate portrayal of what your grade is. If you have a WebEx tab, you can click on that and you can see how the WebEx will work for your class. It's basically like conferences. And then there's a new Starfish tab starting with the spring 2017 semester. You can click on that and explore, but it's a way for me to communicate if you're falling behind in the class, or for you to contact a counselor or seek help, etc. The next video will talk all about the Home tab and specifically about the projects and the checkpoints that you'll work on throughout the semester.